no stopping, no stopping.
In the 1970s, the Nation of Islam embarked on a groundbreaking fish deal with the government of Peru. This international trade initiative not only created jobs and economic opportunities for the black community, but also played a significant role in spreading awareness about the Nation of Islam's growing fish program and promoting healthier diets.
He said, the Bible says that the corn is in the fish's mouth. So he said, I want you to go where, I want you to research the world. Anywhere in the world where you find the best and the cheapest fish, we will buy it.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around.
To understand the significance of this endeavor, let's explore the history, taste, and business of whiting fish prior to 1972. 1. History of whiting fish. Whiting fish, scientifically known as Merlangius merlangus, has a rich history as a popular and affordable seafood choice. It has been enjoyed by various cultures for centuries, known for its delicate flavor and tender texture. Whiting was commonly found in the waters of the North Atlantic and was harvested by commercial fishermen using traditional methods. 2. Taste and culinary uses. Whiting fish has a mild, sweet flavor and flaky white flesh that lends itself well to various culinary preparations. Before 1972, it was commonly used in home cooking and restaurant dishes, often featured in traditional recipes such as fried fish, fish and chips, fish stews, and fish cakes. Its versatility and affordability made it a staple in many households, particularly in black communities. 3. Whiting fish business prior to 1972. Before the Nation of Islam's fish deal with Peru, the whiting fish business primarily followed conventional import routes. Whiting was commonly sourced from regions such as Mobile, Alabama, Savannah, Georgia, and Los Angeles, and then distributed to various markets across the United States. The intermediaries involved in the supply chain often increased costs, making whiting less accessible to economically disadvantaged communities.
In the 1972, right in that area, Elijah Muhammad was really making an all-out push to grow the Nation of Islam, to expand it. And we're getting to an area now that is international trade.
If you're going to build a nation, you need an infrastructure. And the infrastructure must include business.
But it just happened that in New York, a gentleman by the name of Alisan Dobra, he was a Turkish Muslim. He met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He hired Mr. Dobra on the spot just to train the members of the Nation of Islam in the area of international trade.
This was the first time in the history of black people in America of African descent being given an opportunity to take the leadership in such a dynamic, independent role of economics.
No stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
4. The Nation of Islam's vision for whiting fish. Recognizing the importance of affordable and nutritious food options for the black community, the Nation of Islam sought to establish a direct trade relationship with Peru to bypass intermediaries and reduce costs. Their goal was to make high-quality whiting fish more accessible to black neighborhoods, promoting economic empowerment and healthier diets.
At the behest of Elijah Muhammad, Nadar Ali negotiated a deal with the Peruvian government to import large quantities of fish to be sold by members of the Nation of Islam. This was aimed at furthering Elijah Muhammad's objectives of gaining economic independence.
No stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
5. The fish deal with Peru. Under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam's negotiations resulted in a groundbreaking fish deal with the government of Peru. In June 1974, the first shipment of imported fresh frozen whiting from Peru arrived at a New York pier, marking a significant departure from the traditional import routes. This direct trade allowed the Nation of Islam to control the supply chain and offer whiting fish at more affordable prices.
How much pressure was on each rank and file member to sell that fish?
Well, a lot of pressure, but it wasn't physical pressure. It was mental pressure.
Usually a quota would be initiated, and the captain, who had control of the men, would implement a quota on you rather than you coming in telling them what you were willing to do.
No stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
6. Economic impact and community empowerment. Through the fish deal with Peru, the Nation of Islam created employment opportunities for black individuals and established fish houses in Harlem and other black communities. By offering affordable whiting fish products, such as fish sausage, fish burgers, fish boat sandwiches, and fish salad, the Nation of Islam empowered the black community with access to nutritious food options. This initiative not only promoted economic independence, but also contributed to the overall well-being of the community.
We unloaded 7 ships ourselves in the LA harbor. We came out on the docks to help. They said we were not union. And that was a union dock. So what the union people did, since we came out there, they said, well, we'll close down the docks. We won't do nothing.
And we weren't going to allow nothing or nobody to stop us. So they said that they wouldn't unload it, period. We had 20 trucks, we had our own men, we had 240 men, and the captain said, look, we'll take care of it ourselves.
And he called them all to attention. And he told them what had to be done.
And they say, well, look, you can't do that. This is a union dock. If we don't unload it, it won't be unloaded.
Those brothers pulled off their coats after the longshoremen left and sat down. Their brothers pulled off their coats. They went inside the warehouse.
And a couple of the brothers knew how to operate cranes. Brother jumped on the crane. In fact, it was a Lieutenant Rayford. I know, a little bitty brother, man. He was small in size, but his heart was big as the ocean, man. He was a fiery young soldier.
And they started running that little tow motor.
He operated and swung that big lift around, and brother began to stack it on. Just stack the fish on top of that bed.
And started sending the fish down on the conveyor belt. We had our own trucks come in.
Over 200,000 pounds on that first shipment, if I'm not mistaken. We unloaded it off the dock and started putting it on the truck. Shop stewardess came out and told us, now listen, the union is going to send some people over here to let you know that, you're not supposed to be doing this. So the captain said, man, don't worry about none of that, man. You do what you got to do. We're going to do what we got to do. We're not going to let our fish rot just because we are not in the union. The guy said, who's in charge? As soon as he said that, man, we stopped and the captain stepped straight to the point, man. Captain Ali Rashid was so cold. I remember he had a black outfit, and the captain said, I'm in charge, man. And the guy told the captain, said, well, look, you're in violation here. You can't do this. And the captain said, in violation of who and of what? Who am I violating? Well, this is a union dock, and the union has to do this. You can't do it. The captain said, look, man, look at me. Captain said, these are our fish. These are our men. Allah's God, so what you want to do? 200 men, everybody was ready to do whatever we was going to tear that dock up. And the man said, look, I ain't got nothing to do with your fish. I sure got nothing to do with God, with Allah, so y'all handle your business. The captain said, you a smart boy. Here, take a piece of fish. Gave him a 5-pound box of fish, and we finished the work. And, that was it.
No stopping, no stopping, no stopping. In your neighborhood, or with your fish today.
The Peruvian government was using Polish trawlers to catch the fish and to fast freeze the fish on board of their trawlers. We unloaded 7 shipments of fish from Peru right here in Los Angeles Harbor. We were sending it down the conveyor belts like, the fish was coming down so fast. If you wasn't committed, you wouldn't be able to keep up with it. But as fast as the men can send it down the conveyor, we would put it on pallets, and then they did allow us to use their little lift trucks, and we came with their lift trucks, and the brother took them and came and put them on board the trucks that we had out there waiting for the fish. Then we would transport the fish from there to the freezer that we had over here on Western and 145th Street. I believe it was Western 145th Street. And we loaded sometimes 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 pounds of fish.
No stopping, no stopping, no stopping.
With international trade agreements with Peru and Morocco, Shabazz Fish Takeouts and Good Foods franchises began to establish themselves as viable business opportunities.
Conclusion. The Nation of Islam's fish deal with Peru revolutionized the whiting fish business by establishing a direct trade relationship and bypassing intermediaries. This allowed the Nation of Islam to offer affordable and high-quality whiting fish products to the black community, promoting economic empowerment and healthier diets. By understanding the history, taste, and business of whiting fish prior to 1972, we can appreciate the transformative impact of the Nation of Islam's efforts in empowering the black community through the fish deal.
He didn't want to sell us to everybody. He just wanted to sell it to the lost found Negroes of the United States. So he was limiting our way to sell. But fortunate enough, he did this one other thing. He hired a gentleman, Mr. Alishan Dober. He was a Turkish Muslim, and he had a shipping company there in New York. He was a shipping magnate. He hired Mr. Dober. He paid Mr. Dober he paid him $50 million a year just to train us in international trade, because we didn't know about international trade. So Mr. Dober came on board. He trained us how to open letters of credit, how to do contracts, how to do everything in international business. He was really, really brilliant in this, and he was unselfish in helping us do all these things. And as we developed, we researched the whole world, and we found that the best and the lowest priced fish was in Peru. So we embarked and we went to Peru. We traveled to Peru. Elijah Muhammad's grandson, Sultan Muhammad, who was fluent in Spanish, Mr. Dober and myself, we flew to Peru, and he said another thing. He said, do not negotiate with any middle people. We're not dealing with middle people. We're only dealing with governments. He said, our government to another government, so don't deal with middle people. So we dealt with the government of Peru. We drew a contract up, 36 million pounds of fish a year. Each shipment of fish that came into the United States, 3 million pounds a month. Every month, 3 million pounds of fish came into the United States of America. And it came in there, it came into the port. Brother Muhammad, pick the map up again. I'll tell you where these ports came in. This is what actually happened. Okay, we had fish coming into the port of Los Angeles. We had fish coming into Moly, Alabama. We had fish coming into New York City. We had fish coming into Savannah, Georgia. And this fish, the Los Angeles group, who was a very powerful and diligent group, they sold a lot of whiting H&G. I think Brother Shaw and Imam Hassan will vouch to that. They sold, they cover this whole western region. And over here in New York, we didn't have Brother Clark was still with the educational field, so I couldn't use him. But another Brother Shamsuddin helped me do all the distribution there. And here we had the southern region was covered. We did it by truck. We did it by rail. We did it by plane. We covered the United States with fish. I'll tell you, and only this 3 million pounds coming in every month, and 36 million pounds coming in a year, we're talking about $50 million coming into this community every single year. That was a stimulus to everybody.
In fact, the first shipload of fish from the unpolluted waters around the South American country of Peru has already arrived in Mobile, Alabama. It carried with it some 1,000 metric tons of fish, or roughly 2,200,000 pounds. The second ship is already on its way. This one will carry 1,200 metric tons. And brothers and sisters, under the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, this will continue each month for the next year, at least. The only difference being that the poundage will increase. In order to be totally independent in this venture, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has ordered the purchase of warehouse and cold storage facilities there in Mobile, Alabama. Negotiations are already underway, and we expect to spend at least $1 million to prepare this facility for our imports. Now, we must remember that it hurts our enemy to see us in these broad fields.
In your neighborhood, or with your fish today. Hey, now we've got Shabbat's good food. No stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping, no stopping.